two iconic moments. Undertaker holding up the title, Stone Cold with the bloody face, and the sharpshooter.
Not that it really mattered in the grand scheme of things, but I remember thinking, that is a dude. And then when she talked and she had the, voice, that didn't help.
Yeah, just the visual of China just shaking the shit out of Marlena. Forgot how impressive China was.
And Sid attempts to powerbomb Taker, and Hart comes out again. Did he come out a third time?
Yeah, the promo at the beginning, when they were outside the ring, and then at the end.
He came out a third time. And Sean was like, Jesus.
Speaking of which, I think that's a good transition to get into our retro review.
Our Wrestling Rewind.
As we are looking upon WrestleMania 13. I thought about it afterwards. We are fully in the middle of the Monday Night Wars. You can consider this the Attitude Era, and then on our WCW side, we're in the NWO era. So this is Monday Night Wars.
Well, technically, this is the genesis of the Attitude Era, because we're not at the Hart Foundation yet. Stone Cold is just getting to his throne, and we haven't seen DX. The pieces are getting there, though. As far as the Monday Night Wars, yeah, you're right.
There's a debate on when the Attitude Era started.
I don't know, when DX started cross-chopping their dicks.
I don't know. Bret had a little bit of an attitude to him tonight. And then you had Austin calling people son of a bitch. You had Vince McMahon almost calling Austin a son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to put a start on it, this is pretty close. The match that we're going to get into, I would put that near the start of the Attitude Era.
I think it just kind of depends on how you look at it, because Bret and Austin, at least to me, were both portrayed as heels. If you want to talk about the era officially starting, or at least in my mind, it would be when Austin became the champion and the top guy. That's when they focused, okay, our top guy is going to have the attitude, not just a heel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a lot of attitude. It was very 90s. So I don't think there's a wrong way to look at it. It's all subjective, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I will say this was probably one of the weaker WrestleManias for me. Just in terms of what we got.
Well, I'm probably jaded by the match.
Oh, thank God for that.
But yeah, that match probably carried a lot of weight in the whole thing.
Well, we're in Chicago, Illinois, and we learned that there's turmoil in the WWF. Bret Hart has been gone for 6 months, and he's returning to face an angry rattlesnake. Bret's no longer squeaky clean. He's shoving Vince down to the floor. And I think that's also when he did a profanity-laced promo, and it was a big deal because it was Bret Hart. He was the white meat baby.
And because he was dropping those profanities on TV.
Yeah. It's like, and Sid is the champion, and he's facing The Undertaker. There's also a Chicago street fight. And Vince McMahon, JR, and Jerry the King Lawler are on commentary. This is the first time we get Jerry and JR.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good commentary group, to be honest with you. I thought they all meshed well together.
Yeah, they did pretty good. They weren't overstepping each other.
Mm-hmm. And opening the pay-per-view is the Godwins versus the Headbangers versus Can-Am Express, which is Doug Furnas and Philip LaFawn.
Doug Furnas. That just sounds funny.
He apparently it's supposed to be a big deal. He's supposed to be really strong, and I don't know, there's something about him where he's supposed to be the next big thing. Just never worked out. It's probably the hair. The new Blackjacks are also in there. The new Blackjacks are Barry Windham and JBL. It's a 4-way elimination match for the #1 contendership for the WWF tag titles. And the new Blackjacks do a promo before the match. And I was too distracted by Bradshaw's mustache to really get what they said. I assume they were just going to kick ass and take names.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to what they actually said, but I was just entertained by the fact that it was a over-the-top promo. I don't know, you just felt like they thought they were in a Western.
Right.
And then they had those big-ass mustaches. And I was like, are those real? No, those are fake mustaches.
They might be real.
I don't know, those are pretty thick mustaches.
I bet Barry's was real.
Could he grow a beard that thick? Golly.
Oh, yeah.
Thick
Barry
mustaches.
Windham? Yeah. I thought the Blackjack gimmick was cool as shit.
Yeah, I liked it.
I was thinking last week when we were talking about how they're doing the advertisements in the middle of the ring and how that could lead to Jimmy Johns and shit on wrestler trunks.
Yeah.
I would be for it if it meant that they would go back to looking like wrestlers again, as opposed to fucking comic book characters.
Yeah.
If they start looking like Stone Cold and the Blackjacks, go back to real wrestling.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Well, Bradshaw shoves the referee to the ground, and the Blackjacks are DQ'd, and so is my interest in this match, to be honest with you. JR took the opportunity to shit on Texas, because he's an Oklahoman. The Can-Am Express are counted out just out of nowhere. It was like at the same time. I don't know what happened with that. And then the Headbangers, the one with a standing whoopee cushion. And yeah, like I said, after the Blackjacks left, I kind of stopped caring.
Yeah, I thought the Blackjacks were going to actually win this match. And I was looking forward to seeing one of those good old Bradshaw clotheslines, but didn't get that. And they got eliminated first.
I will say that this was like all sorts of nostalgia. Because I remember Phineas and Henry Godwin with Hillbilly Jim. I remember Slop Drop, the Headbangers. I don't remember Can-Am Express so much.
Yeah, that was the only team I didn't remember. Well, and the Blackjacks.
I remember the Blackjacks. I remember that they came back and they were gone. And I really liked them.
I'll be honest. When I saw them, I thought they were the Smoking Guns. And then they said, the new Blackjacks. I'm like, what?
I can't remember if Bart became a Blackjack.
He would fit in. Oh, you want to be on the team? Let's see what kind of mustache you can get. Because that is the barrier to entry here. You got to have a good mustache.
So after that, we have an In Your House promo. A lot of member berries in this pay-per-view for me. I remember that promo and the song and Sid getting in the camera and Austin saying, "Oh, whoop your ass."
Yeah, I was trying to think if I remembered which one that one actually was, but that was not the Final Four one.
Yeah, we're after Final Four. So the Honky Tonk Man comes out and he's jiving in the ring, and then he jives his way to the commentary table. And the Sultan, or Rikishi, versus Rocky Maivia commences. And it's for the Intercontinental Championship. Sultan comes out and he's with Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik. And Tony Atlas, he's taking a break from sniffing feet to watch the match with Captain Lou Albano. Rocky sucks chants happened for some reason. I guess we're in the die Rocky die days. At least it sounded like they were saying Rocky sucks.
I didn't necessarily hear it, but I do know we're definitely in the die Rocky die phase.
Yeah, it sounded like they were saying Rocky sucks. Apparently Tony Atlas helped train The Rock, which gives me a lot of questions. And the Honky Tonk Man implies at one point The Rock isn't old enough to fuck a woman, which I thought was kind of funny. And Lawler made a Christopher Reeve joke. For our younger listeners, that's Superman, before Henry Cavill. And this version of Superman decided to ride a horse one day, and he fell off that horse, and Superman never flew again.
And ended up in a wheelchair and almost paralyzed.
So he was paralyzed.
Now imagine our surprise as kids. This all happens to Superman of all people.
Right. That was the joke.
Yeah.
There's a super kick Rock took that looked really brutal. It was just kind of out of nowhere. I wish the pile driver would come back. We saw all sorts of pile drivers throughout this pay-per-view, and they were all awesome looking, except for one.
Yes.
And The Rock won with a roll-up. And after the match, the Sultan attacks The Rock with the title. Sheik stomps Rock's ass while Backlund directs traffic. Sultan hits a splash, then Sheik locks in a camel clutch while Sultan slaps him. And then Rocky Johnson comes in and scared everybody away with all the faces he was making. And Sultan whoops Johnson's ass with the Iranian flag. And then Rock recovers, beats the shit out of everyone but Backlund. And then Rock and his dad scoop slam the Sheik. And then, that was that. You can tell Rock was earmarked to be a big deal. You can also tell why people didn't like him, because he was very goofy. He wasn't The Rock quite yet.
Yeah, he needed to get there. But I thought people didn't like him because of his promos.
I don't remember his promos.
They were, I'm happy to be here type promos.
Yeah, I can see that. The fans were kind of cheering for him at the beginning of the match, and then he made this little goofy face and started twirling his finger. I was like, oh, man, that's just,
Oh, what about when he did his dad's little punch thing? The punch with the feet shuffle stuff going on?
Oh, yeah. It's just
that looked a little weird.
Yeah, Rock wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, you can tell he was trying to find himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it started off really well, then it kind of got boring. I thought his dad was like some blues singer or something. It didn't click that it was his dad right away. Like, what is little Richard doing?
He reminds me of the black guy from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, yeah, you're right. These vampires ain't shit. I've been in Nam. Well, after that, Ken Shamrock is interviewed, and they play a clip of Shamrock making an example out of Billy Gunn. And Shamrock said he wasn't trying to break nothing. He was just trying to let him know who he was. He's just throwing Billy Gunn around. And I think he got him in an ankle lock.
Yeah, he got him in an armbar and then an ankle lock.
Yeah.
First time seeing the ankle lock for us there. Going to be a big move in wrestling.
And also some high schools in Texas.
Yeah.
And apparently Austin and Hart at one point threatened to come after Shamrock if he got in their way. And I do remember at least Austin confronting Shamrock. I can't quite remember what he said, but can imagine he said he was going to whoop his ass. And Shamrock said he's there just to officiate because he knows submissions. He's not going to be intimidated by Bret or Austin. He's going to call it right down the middle. And after that, Doc Hendricks interviews Hunter Hearst Helmsley with Chyna, who they liberally call a she. And Hendricks wants to know if Trips and Chyna are fucking. And Trips tells Hendricks...
Wait, you said they called her a she?
I said they liberally called her a she.
Shouldn't they have?
Well, yeah, but she was very mannish. This was not feminine Chyna.
This is back before we knew.
Right. Not that it really mattered in the grand scheme of things, but I remember thinking, that is a dude. And then when she talked and she had the, voice, that didn't help. Mm-hmm. But lo and behold, I was wrong. Of course, she got the work done and stuff. She got a little bit better. Then she had the sex tape where I saw the thumb. Yeah.
Proud to say I did not.
I can't look at 1-2-3 Kid the same way. Mm. You know those pornos where the dude's making more noise than the girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on, Six. You beat Chris Jericho, for Christ's sake. Get a hold of yourself. But yeah, Hendricks asked about Goldust and if Triple H can take him 1v1. Tripp says, hell yeah, I can beat him 1v1. And the real loser is going to be Marlena, because she had a chance at this triple dick, but instead opted for Goldust, weird ass. And then Chyna's going to be gunning for Marlena. And they zoom in on Chyna, looking all silent.
Who had blue eyes? I didn't realize.
Yeah, she had blue eyes. And then Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Goldust is after that. And what an entrance and presence Goldust had.
I forgot how much of a banger, as the kids say, his theme was.
Yeah.
Like this version of his theme.
The whole thing, the music, the filter on the camera, the lighting effects, just how fucking weird he is. Everything. Goldust was awesome.
Yeah. Underratedly good. I still remember when he debuted. So he's got the music and then he comes out, he's all gold. And you don't know what the hell. And then it gets even weirder because he gets in the ring and takes his wig off. And I remember the crowd gasping when he took his wig off. Like it was seared into my brain. And he took his wig off and everybody collectively was like...
I just like the idea of somebody that can kick your ass and then fuck you after it. That's just a extra level of intimidation, I think.
Yeah.
And the start of the match was really cool. If I remember correctly, Hunter Hearst Helmsley has been kind of fucking with Marlena, basically trying to hit on her, which is weird because Chyna's there.
Yeah.
So Goldust is just kind of crouched in the center of the ring, and he's just staring at Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And Hunter's like, come on, let's go. After an uncomfortable amount of time, Goldust just launches at him, and they just fight. I just thought that was really cool. And I like how Marlena would casually smoke a cigar while Goldust screamed in pain throughout the match.
Yeah, it was like she wasn't even worried.
You're right. And Goldust countered a top rope move with his ass. Thought that was interesting. And then Goldust is about to hit the curtain call. That's when Chyna gets involved by going after Marlena. Goldust just stops and pulls Marlena up to the apron. And Triple H knocks Goldust into Marlena, who lands into Chyna's arms. And Chyna proceeds to shake the shit out of Marlena. And Triple H ends up hitting his pedigree on Goldust for the 1-2-3. And then you see Goldust holding Marlena, who's trembling in the middle of the ring, weeping. And then Lawler claimed Chyna was just defending herself.
That was the funniest part. And then they look at the replays like, look, Marlena lunged at her. But she really just got knocked off the apron. And yeah, just the visual of China just shaking the shit out of Marlena. You
Goddamn.
forgot how like impressive China was.
She really was.
Something so viscerally good about a bear hug like that. Marlena didn't stand a chance.
China was impressive for that time because women didn't really do that.
They didn't do that and they didn't look like that. Yeah, maybe they had some muscles, but there was no one that muscular.
I think maybe her and Nicole Bass.
Nicole Bass wasn't there yet.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of like that era.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think Bass got there after China left. They had to replace China, so they tried to get Bass in there.
Wasn't Bass in ECW though?
I don't remember. You're probably right though.
Yeah, 98 to 99. She may have started at the same time as China. Oh no, China was better trained by Killer Kowalski, but she had some independent work. It looks like Nicole Bass was just a big girl that went to ECW.
Oh, there's that.
That's cool. Nicole Bass history there. But yeah, Hunter Hearst Helmsley dropped the blue blood gimmick. I didn't realize that was so short-lived.
It wasn't that long, yeah. And then
Seems
we're
like
on to Triple H into the game.
Yeah, we're getting there. They show Shawn Michaels fucking around on a computer. I forget what it was for.
They were shilling the WWF website because, as they said, we're now on the internet. Golly, such a dinosaur. Oh, yes, there's this internet thing and we're on it.
So this is the first WrestleMania that they have referenced being online. And they're essentially aping the WCW hotline promos.
Yeah.
Vader and Mankind faced Owen Hart and the British Bulldog for the Tag Team Championship. And Paul Bearer is with Mankind and Vader now.
Yeah, he's turned his back on The Undertaker.
Wish they would have explained more of that, but I guess we're far into the separation where it doesn't matter. And this is two-time Slammy award-winning Owen, which is the Owen I remember.
Yep, that was a good one.
And JR tries to stir shit up between Owen and Bulldog before the match. Apparently Owen said he was smarter than Bulldog. JR wants to know what Bulldog thinks about that. The match, I thought Owen did a lot of spin kicks.
Yep, that was his little move.
I noticed that Vader hit a splash to Bulldog from the second rope, and Bulldog kicked out at 1. So I'm thinking, why would the Vader bomb do anything then?
Did he kick out at 1?
Oh, he kicked out like almost immediately. Vader gets on the second rope, and he just does a standard splash, but if you think about it, that's not too different than a Vader bomb.
Right, yeah.
Vader gets beat so bad his mask is off. We saw a mandible claw on Bulldog. Owen tries to help, but Vader stopped him. And then Vader, for some reason, throws Owen into Bulldog and Mankind. And that sends them over the ropes outside the ring. Mankind, because he's such an uncontrollable whatever, he keeps the mandible claw locked in. And then they get counted out. And then Mankind keeps the mandible claw locked in until Vader pulls him off by his hair. And then they mentioned Bulldog and Owen had tension before the match, and they tried to stir up tension. There was no tension. And this was clearly the best face of Foley.
Well, I liked a lot about this match. I just like me some Vader matches.
Oh, yeah. He gets him in the corner and starts pawing on him like a bear.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He starts to go to work with those soup bones.
He did that to Owen twice.
Yeah. His office was just to be bigger than you.
He gets Owen in the corner and he gets him with the soup bones, and it looks like Owen just falls. And Vader's like, no, get your ass back up. He does it more. Like, no, you're not getting out of this.
Yeah. And then there's a couple moments where you just do an Irish whip and basically just belly flop.
Mm-hmm.
Him being a big guy and he's just like running full speed into people. So that's always good. Yeah, I was laughing at the Mankind thing at the end. So he gets the mandible claw on Bulldog outside of the ring. He refuses to let go. Oh, by the way, we're in front of Stu and Helen Hart. And it got to a point where Vader is trying to pull him off. And he's laying flat on his back with his arms spread out like a T. But he still got the mandible claw. Like, he was just refusing to let go. And there was a point where his eyes are rolling back and, like, he's having an orgasm.
Yeah, Mankind was awesome.
And then, yeah, he finally got breaking off. And, yeah, it was just awesome.
But yeah, this was supposed to be the tension with Owen and Bulldog, which eventually leads to Bret forming the Hart Foundation. But I didn't see any of that.
Well, I guess the only thing was Owen saying he was the leader of the team in that pre-interview.
But Bulldog was still okay with it. Maybe he was too high.
You said Bret forms the Hart Foundation, but doesn't Owen get into the nation first? That being the Nation of Domination.
Yeah, I believe that's after.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's way after because he's got to turn into the Nugget. So DX has to be around.
Right.
Okay.
Bulldog and Owen will wrestle for the inaugural European Championship. Owen will win, and that will eat at Bulldog because he'll have thought he should win, and the riff will continue. I don't know if they wrestle again, but I do remember they're in the match and they're fucking arguing, and Bret just comes out and he goes, "Come on, man, we're better than this." And Bulldog's crying, and Owen can't even look at Bret, and then they all end up hugging, and thus the Hart Foundation is formed.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we don't get to see any of that.
Yeah.
But what we do get to see is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart in a submission match. And Bret was gone for 6 months. Since he's come back, he's felt overlooked and disrespected. Bret feels like the entire WWF has lost its fucking mind. They're booing him and cheering the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is a crude, crass son of a bitch. And this is when Bret talks about being screwed by everyone. Yeah, the promo where he cursed at Vince and pushed him down on the mat. Somehow he got the ire of Stone Cold, and they're having a submission match. I can't remember if his knees fucked up because of Bret. I seem to remember the Pillmanizer move being Stone Cold, being the one getting it.
Well, I know he did it to Pillman, but I don't remember him getting it, no. But it was a long time ago, so.
Well, I think the Pillman stuff, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's after this. I don't know, though. Yeah, my timeline's fucked up. Shamrock comes out, and he's sleeveless, and he's jacked as all shit.
He sure is.
I wouldn't want to fuck with him. And Austin comes out. He kind of did an OG Goldberg entrance. The only thing he didn't do was come out of the dressing room. I did like when he told the camera guy to get out of his fucking way.
And through the shattered glass he goes.
And they said, Bret has to walk through that broken glass. I love how this match started too. Austin kind of looked like he didn't give a shit from the time Bret's music played to the time he entered the ring. It just didn't look like he cared. And Bret gets in the center of the ring and Austin just jumps on him. And they're off to the races. And they beat the fuck out of each other. They beat each other in the stands. They beat each other from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. Outside. We saw our first stunner. And we saw the figure 4 on the ring post by Bret. We saw blood because Austin, quote unquote, busted his head on the guardrail. Which, funny story, Bret said that he cut Austin, which is, I guess you're supposed to do it yourself, but Austin allowed him to do it.
And here I am thinking Austin did really hit his head on the guardrail. But then I was thinking, like, no, I was going off of memory. I thought I had remembered him bleeding from the bell shot, but it didn't happen. He hit the guardrail. And then I was like, well, he hit that guardrail. I don't know how much of a plan it would have been for him to get busted open. But it's too perfect. They couldn't have not planned this and just worked around it.
Well, they had to make it look as real as possible. Because if I'm not mistaken, there was a blood ban by Vince. That's why Bret did the blade job. Because they had to make it look as real as possible and they couldn't figure it out. So Bret just took it on him. Now, that's all Bret's story. Paraphrase Bret's story. But Bret did get a ring bell involved, and that played a factor when Austin starts choking him with a cord. Bret's standing on the apron. Bret grabs the ring bell that he ended up bringing into the ring earlier, clocks Austin with it, gets Austin in the sharpshooter. Austin tries to fight out. Austin almost fights out. Bret trips and looks like the hold's broken, but Bret gets it back in. Austin does one last push to escape, and Austin passes out from the sharpshooter. And then Bret tries to beat Austin's ass after the match, and he gets tossed by Shamrock. And the biggest takeaway that you should know is Austin did not submit. So how can Bret say he won this match? And then there's another ref that came out to help Austin, and then he got stunned.
Because Austin is defiant. So he stunned that ref, walked out on his own, bloodied mess. And the double turn is complete. Austin
It
is
is
now
complete.
officially a face, and Bret Hart is a heel.
I don't see how that was a double turn because at least the way it was presented to me, Bret was already a heel.
Uh, I mean, before the match, he was a crybaby, as they were saying, but he was still like slapping hands with the fans and stuff coming out. And then when he was leaving, he's like flipping off fans. Yeah, I thought he solidified that he was heel.
But he pushed Vince and cursed.
Right, he was having attitude, but he was still slapping hands with fans and stuff when he was
I
coming
got
out.
you. Well, this was a masterpiece.
Absolutely. I forgot to say, when they were fighting in the stands, there was a kid wearing an NWO shirt.
Oh,
Just thought that was worth noting.
it would have been funny if they hit him.
King was great on it. He was like, hit that drunk idiot right there. But I would put this, I don't know. I'm trying not to be overcome by like recency bias, so I'd have to like watch WrestleMania 7 Ultimate Warrior Macho Man match again, but it's up there with that, obviously.
Yeah, I'd have to watch King Kong Bundy versus Little Beaver again.
But yeah, this was one of the biggest iconic moments, obviously, and everything about it, even rewatching it, was just spot on. I love that they were never trying to do like flip flops.
Mm-hmm.
It was all just like a grudge feud.
I just like how at least Bret's one-on-one matches, it's not just a match. There's something you got to think about.
Yeah, he was a master of his craft.
I was almost afraid to watch this match because you know when you watch something that you grew up with and it sucks?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want this to be that.
Yeah, you watch it as an adult and it just taints everything you knew about it.
You start questioning life.
Yeah.
Luckily, this aged like a fine wine.
Yeah, I was glad that we got to rewatch it.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I didn't much care for the pay-per-view as a whole, but this match, I think, was worth it.
Yeah, I would say this match carried the pay-per-view. Obviously, I don't think they knew at the time it would come off the way it did, but why that wasn't the main event, I was questioning that at the end.
Because it wasn't for the title.
True. This was back when the title was the most important thing on the show.
As it should be.
Yes. But Diesel and Shawn Michaels wasn't for the main event. He's not a champion.
I don't know what the rationale for that was.
And that's funny because that WrestleMania, we said Diesel and Shawn Michaels should have been the main event.
Oh, so maybe that's a testament to how much of a draw Diesel and Shawn Michaels were.
Yeah. And he had Pam there too. That's just funny. We questioned 2 main events in a row here.
Well, the Nation of Domination are interviewed. And this is very early Nation. Savio, Crush, and D'Lo Brown are the members.
A very big D'Lo Brown.
Yes. And the interviewer notices all the weapons the Nation has. And Farouk says that colored boy, Ahmed Johnson, and the Legion of Doom are going to get theirs. They're going to bring everything.
Farouk was so racist.
Yeah, they're bringing everything in the kitchen sink. We get to the Nation of Domination versus Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson in a Chicago street fight in the ring. The Nation is a gang, make no mistake about it, is what they want you to think because they keep saying it. They're thugs. They're a gang. They're nothing but just a straight gang. These ruffians. I don't know why Farouk would have been seen in public with the poor man's Beastie Boys, but they were annoying.
I forgot who those dudes were.
I don't know.
But they did the rap entrance, which messed up the Nation of Domination song.
They messed up the Nation of Domination. Them and Crush just did not belong.
Didn't Crush have his face tattoo at the time? That puts him in.
He's an honorary one.
Yeah.
No, because they were clearly like a black supremacist group.
At that point, you have a face tattoo. You're not in your own community anymore. They kick you out. And he was a criminal. He wasn't part of his crew anymore.
He was dressed like a biker, though. If you're going to have a white dude in a black supremacist group, why would you have him be a biker?
Yeah, bikers are pretty racist, so I don't know why they...
I don't know about racist.
Over there.
You got 2 extremes that are colliding with each other and they clash. It's like if Wheezy and Garth Brooks decided to get on stage together and do a duet. Animal did the worst pile driver to Farouk on the announce table. So they did that thing where he gets him in the position and they tease the back body drop, and then Animal finally gets him up for the pile driver. And then he just falls over. I don't know what the fuck that was. But it was awful. And it was disappointing because Animal is a veteran at this point and he should know better.
there was a cloth on the table, and it looks like his foot got caught on the cloth, so he didn't get to kick it out to properly do the pile driver. So that's why it looked so bad.
So he just fell.
Pretty
Just,
much.
just fell over like a turtle.
Pretty much. But yeah, he didn't get to get his legs out because of the tablecloth that was there. So
Just,
pretty much
wow.
just fell down. They didn't have a lot of room to work with either. So
That's true. It's not like the announce tables today where you can build a house on it.
Yeah.
I wish I could say that was the weirdest, bizarre thing you would see. But no, Ahmed got randomly lynched by Farouk. It was kind of funny because as Ahmed's hanging by this noose, Farouk drags him into the ring, and Crush is just kind of standing there, kind of looking around like he doesn't know what the fuck to do. He ends up just stomping him and then getting the fuck away from Ahmed, which was smart. And then Farouk lynches Hawk. And then Ahmed.
The best part of that was while he's hanging there, that little Limp Bizkit member is like hitting him in the stomach like a pinata.
And then Ahmed lynches Farouk, and Crush ends up eating a doomsday device. He gets a clothesline with a 2x4. That's why he was in the group.
Yeah.
And finally, this god-awful match is over. And the two nerdy white rappers try to attack the LOD after the match, and they each get a doomsday device.
And it was weird.
Yeah, this was a garbage match. I don't know what was with all the lynchings.
Well, I told you Farouk was pretty racist.
Yeah.
Character-wise, so.
I mean, I don't want to harp on it because it's not like I'm offended or anything like that. It's just weird. All right, Shawn Michaels comes out. He's not competing tonight due to knee injury, but he comes out to slap hands with the fans and hear his music twice. And then he gets pyro. And then he saunters over to the commentary booth.
King is like, look at him. He's just trying to steal the spotlight. It's not even about him.
Psycho Sid is interviewed. It's said that this could be the most important night of Sid's career because he's defending the World Heavyweight title against The Undertaker. Sid says it's WrestleMania and it only comes once a year. And tonight, when darkness falls, every man, woman, and child will be so scared, except for one person. Only one person is not scared of the darkness, and one person is not scared of the Undertaker. And that is me, my friend. In the game we play, I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. He does a little closed eye, smile, laughy thing.
Yep, this is the Psycho.
And I'm not sure how being the master of the world fits into the psycho part of his gimmick, but I really love me some Sid. He looked nice and lean too.
Sure did.
As I gush over these men's bodies. And that brings us to our main event of the evening. The Undertaker versus Psycho Sid in a no disqualification match for the World Heavyweight title. This is the first time we see Taker without Paul Bearer. It's kind of sad. I don't know if it's the first time, but they seem to lean heavily on Taker being undefeated at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Jim Ross said he's undefeated as The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I just thought it was weird that he said it like that.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe he was covering his bases.
Yeah, but yeah, going back since WrestleMania, he's only been The Undertaker, so maybe it was just, covering himself.
They really need to bring back that center ring pyro thing. You know how Sid had his name?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Like, Roman.
I always said that was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, and they don't even have to do live flames now. With technology and shit, they could have like an LED screen, do whatever they want. Let's get rid of the stupid CGI shit and do that. Bret Hart comes out. He grabs a mic. Hart tells Michaels to take his fake pussyfoot injury and go find a smile and stay out of this match. He tells Taker that they're not friends anymore after Taker slammed a cage door on his head, which I would think would be implied. And Hart tells Sid that the WF title belongs to him. Sid's a phony, and Sid knows it. And Sid proceeds to powerbomb Bret while Shawn laughs at him. And Sid tells Bret to get his whiny ass out of the ring. And this is when Jim Ross finds it an appropriate time to say that Bret is technically the winner against Steve Austin, but Austin didn't submit.
Yeah, you got to remember that.
Sid then calls Bret a crybaby and then says when he's done kicking Taker's ass, he's bringing Bret back to the ring and finishing the job. So then the Undertaker just sneak attacks him when the match commences. And Michaels at one point said that Sid is so desperate that he's heading to the top rope, which is something that he doesn't do. One day that's going to cost him. Little did he know. Because the pay-per-view in WCW where he broke his leg.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
I was like, where are you going with this?
Okay. Well, the very last pay-per-view I think WCW had was certainly Sid's last pay-per-view. Sid goes to the top rope and then he does like a something and he lands on his leg and you see his like leg just fold over like a piece of paper. Sid used the tombstone pile driver on Taker, and I like that he did the little arm fold thing, but he didn't do I guess it's not a part of his Taker shtick now, but Shawn Michaels and Triple H down the road when they face Undertaker, they do the tongue thing that he does. And I like that Sid, he did the arm fold thing, but he just kind of grinned at the camera like a cocky ass heel.
It's like, oh yeah, look what I'm about to do.
Yeah. Hart came out a second time and he hit Sid with a chair. Taker hit Sid with a choke slam and Sid attempts to powerbomb Taker and Hart comes out again. Did he come out a third time?
Yeah, the promo at the beginning, when they were outside the ring and then at the end.
He came out a third time. And Shawn was like, Jesus, which was perfectly timed because that's what I was thinking too. And then Taker ends up hitting the tombstone on Sid. 1, 2, 3. Taker poses with the belt, pointing at the fans, saying that he did it for them. Then Taker celebrates with his creatures of the night.
The iconic purple light, Undertaker holding up the title. 2 iconic moments. Undertaker holding up the title, Stone Cold with the bloody face, and the sharpshooter.
Without the whole Bret Hart thing, this would have been a really weak WrestleMania.
Yeah, I could see that. The Bret Hart Stone Cold match carried. But if I'm going to be honest, I like the first half. The second half was kind of rough. Like the street fight.
The street fight was awful.
The street fight was awful. And then the main event, by the time we had gotten there, I was just like, well, this is not going to top. I think it was Jim Ross said it. Good luck following that match.
Right.
And he was right. Pretty much after that, it was downhill. But
it was better than I expected. It's just, you kind of know what you're going to get with The Undertaker.
Well, I'm seeing now, maybe he works better with smaller opponents.
I didn't think he did bad with Sid.
He didn't do bad. It was just really slow paced. Like the Diesel match, it was really slow paced. Diesel will do a move and then, he's egging on the crowd.
Well, that's how Diesel works.
And then he'd knock him back down and egg on the crowd some more. And it's like, we could pick up the pace a little bit here.
Yeah.
I felt like this match, it was like really slow paced.
Yeah, I'll grant you that. Well, I liked the new Blackjacks, but didn't care for that match. Care about it, I should say. Sultan and Rock, I actually thought that was kind of underwhelming. For as big of a deal as The Rock looked, and I thought it started out really well, but then there was a point in the match where I'm just like, this is kind of boring. Keeps going on and on and on.
A lot of the matches were kind of long.
They weren't long, they just weren't eventful. Goldust and Hunter was great. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Triple H match. I've seen matches of his that I didn't like the finish of. Like there's a SummerSlam match he has with Shawn Michaels. It's a last man standing match for the title, and they both end up getting counted out because, Triple H can't lose. So that kind of shit. But as far as the match and stuff and the build up, I like Hunter. And Goldust was always a favorite. He was around when I started getting into wrestling. It's his cross dresser. I remember he was beating the shit out of the Undertaker.
Yeah, I remember him from when he first debuted. And it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it. He was such an enigma, and that captivated you because you never knew what the hell was about to happen.
The Vader Mankind, I mean, it's cool seeing all the people in the match, but as far as the match, could have gone without that.
I like the ending, keeping the mandible claw on.
That was WrestleMania 13. And Stone Cold and Bret, they'll continue their rivalry. Of course, Austin's now a babyface and Hart's a heel. Hart recruits British Bulldog and Owen and Pillman and Neidhart to be the Hart Foundation. And then at In Your House 14, Austin and Hart have their penultimate match for their feud, which Austin won by disqualification. And the feud ended at In Your House 16 at the Canadian Stampede, where the Hart Foundation defeated Team America, which was Austin, Shamrock, Legion of Doom, and Goldust.
Jeez. It's a stacked team they beat.
A little bit, yeah. Undertaker received a push after he won his second WWF championship. He won his first one from Hogan. And he spent a reign of 133 days, which included battles against Mankind, Steve Austin, Farouk, and Vader. At SummerSlam, Undertaker finally ended his reign with a loss to Bret Hart. And this is when Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee. This is when Bret Hart spit on Shawn Michaels, and Shawn was fed up, and he went to hit Bret Hart with a chair, and he hit Taker instead and had a pin.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I remember it too because I watched that pay-per-view. I remember thinking, how could you, Shawn? Why'd you have to lose your temper, Shawn? You fuck Taker. Come on, Shawn, you're better than that. And Bret was looking at him the whole time like, yeah, motherfucker, you count to 3. It's great. After losing the championship to Undertaker, Psycho Sid's push began to diminish. After King of the Ring, he started to disappear from WWF TV, and Sid quietly left. He focused on recovering from a neck injury. And he would eventually return to WCW in '99. He would wrestle as Sid Vicious until he suffered a near career-ending leg injury at WCW Sin in 2001.
There it is.
So WrestleMania 14 is in the distance. That features Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. We have Mike Tyson as our special outside enforcer. So that'll be a fun one.
I remember that one.
I do too. That one is where I think Shawn's back was so fucked up that he could barely wrestle that match. I guess it was a miracle that he could do what he did the way that he did. Yeah, it was a miracle match. But before that, we have Starrcade 96. Main event for that one is Piper versus Hogan. So we have 2 pay-per-views of build-up for that one. It's for the WCW title. We also have Dean Malenko versus the Ultimo Dragon. It's a title unification match for the J Crown and the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. We also have Akira Hakuta versus Medusa. That's for the inaugural WCW Women's Championship. So that'll be fun. DDP faces Eddie Guerrero for the vacated U.S. title. And Jeff Jarrett faces Chris Benoit in a no DQ match. Feel sorry for Jarrett. Faces of Fear face the Outsiders again for the tag titles. We have Giant versus Lex Luger. And Jushin Thunder Liger versus Rey Mysterio.
Seems like a lot of matches.
It is a lot of matches. But that is next week.
Well, that is next week. But as for this week, if you agree with anything, let us know in the comments below. And if you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all the social medias. We're almost to 500 subscribers. Let's get us there. And until next time, Top Guys, out.